Hey. Wait a minute. We got Elvis. Elvis, why don't you sing along, buddy?
Well, I didn't know all the words, baby.
How could you not know all the words?
Well, because I'm the king, baby. There's only
That's
two people on the planet that know karate. Everybody else and the king. Watch out now. No?
Wow, you're good looking. Oh.
You can hardly tell the difference, huh?
No difference at all.
Totally scary, dude. Totally scary. What's up?
Hey, is this the Hangout Live? Is that where we're at?
It is the Hangout Live right here on 103.5 Jack FM's Facebook page.
You haven't seen me for a week, have you, Drake? Notice anything different?
Dude, you got a haircut.
I got them all cut. All the salons are now open, and just as of this weekend, I thought, man, it was getting pretty ratty. I was looking pretty self-quarantined, so.
A little bit. Last time I saw you, I called you Neanderthal man, so you're looking good.
Hey, well, thanks.
So do you go to like just a barber shop or do you do the whole salon?
Oh, yeah, no, I go to a barber shop, of course. Can't you tell?
I do. You know who cuts my hair?
Your mom.
You're so funny.
She gets the bowl out and.
Bro, this
my
looks
mom
good.
used to do that.
Actually, I cut my own hair. Have since I was 10 years old.
Wow. Hey, you know what? Last week it was my brother's birthday. This week it's my dad's birthday. So I'm going to shout out to my dad for a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dad Lochner. Yeah. I don't know why that has to do with my hair, but awesome.
Because he used to cut my hair.
Oh, so you're just flashing. I got to keep up with you.
He would put the bowl on the head and just, and then, or take the razor across.
Right. So my production assistant turned down my computer during the song, and now I don't know how to turn it back up. So can production see? This is magic right here. Now it's turning up without seeing any hands. Ah, you saw a hand. Damn it. All right. Beth Eileen just came on and said my three favorite men: Lochner, Drake, and the King, baby.
And the King.
Should I show a little muscle in that? Oh, yeah.
Wow! Look at those guns.
I know, right? All right, brother. So let's talk about what we got going on.
What we got coming up, you mean next?
That's right. Yeah. Next Monday night, we got Rage. Dale Racchini. Dude, I hope I don't blow it when he's on with us.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get that announced right. I mean, this guy has done videos for, the list of stuff he's done is just ridiculous. Guns N' Roses, which a lot of people will go, wow, but a lot of heavy stuff. All That Remains. I don't know. I just looked at the resume and I can't possibly memorize all this. There's too much.
There's a lot. He's worked with everybody known to man. Hey, brother, do me a quick favor before we get into the show here. Check your mic level.
My mic level?
Yeah, you're coming in just a little weak, and I don't want to overpower you with my big macho radio voice.
Hey. Okay,
there you are.
I got to sit closer. Is that what it is?
There you go. Just come closer. Come closer, Lord.
Hey.
All right. So, dude, we've got an amazing show tonight. An amazing show.
Well, what about the week after that? You want to talk about what's coming up the week after?
Derail me. Okay.
Yes.
So we got Dale Racchini, Rage. That's what he goes by. The week after that,
Brian.
We got Brian Forsyth from Kicks. And man, dude, they've got that Don't Close Your Eyes track that they did was phenomenal. Of course, all the stuff they did was pretty phenomenal.
He also plays in, doesn't he play in Rhino Bucket too?
Rhino Bucket, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then the week after that, we'll just push out one more week.
So what would that be, the 29th?
Yeah, who's coming on then?
We got Bill Leverty from Firehouse.
Bill Leverty, yeah.
Just signed on today, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let me do the Lochner.
So anyhow, tonight though, we've got... Yeah, don't steal my stuff. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
But we got Jeremy Popoff on tonight. Jeremy's super cool guy that he's going to have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Yeah, there he is.
This is him right here, man. The man, the myth, the legend with his guitar. I think we should just go ahead and bring him in. What do you think?
Yeah, let's bring him in. He grew up right in this area.
Let's do it. We got Jeremy Popoff.
Jeremy.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
Yo,
what's up, brother?
hold on, man. Let me turn this down.
All right.
I got way too many speakers in my Sonos to figure out where I'm sitting. I'm just gonna pause it. What's up, man? Sorry about that.
That's all right. What's happening, brother?
Man, I'm just chilling. Looks like it's starting to get ready to pour some rain here in Nashville.
Nice.
Nice. Well, welcome to the Hangout Live here on Jack FM. And man, we've been excited to talk to you. We've been waiting for this night for a couple of weeks. I'm glad it's here.
Thanks, man. Likewise. Sorry about the glare and all that. Still trying to figure all this out, you know?
It's all right, man. It's all right. It's all good. So, Robbie, why don't you take it away, man? You had something you wanted to bring up here.
Yeah, I was going to tell him how years ago, must have been 90, I want to say 95 or 96, the first time I heard of Lit. I was at a guy who does vinyl distribution, and I had a record and whatever. There you go, those good-looking guys. So we were talking, and he just brought up Lit, and he goes, "These guys are going to blow up. They're going to be huge." And he gave me your demo. And I've been searching all over for it. There's no way I got rid of it. It's somewhere. But, you know, when you got tons of cassettes, I was like searching through everything. I was desperately trying to find it because I really wanted to be able to hold it up and go, "Look at this."
Dude, we're about to re-release. If it's the same demo did it have like My Worst Enemy on it, Miserable and all that?
No.
It was an earlier, heavier one.
Yep.
We're actually re-releasing, or not re-releasing, but we're getting ready to release a bunch of old demos, and we're actually going to release. We just found, for 20 years we've been looking for the demo of My Worst Enemy, and we finally found it. My brother has been packing up. He's about to move to Nashville as well.
All right.
And I got a text, and it was just a picture of a cassette, and it just said My Worst Enemy demo, and so we had to have it transferred from cassette then to digital, and then we had to kind of do a little mastering stuff to it. But pretty crazy, because that was the demo that got, you know, passed on by every major label under the sun. You know, it had Enemy on it, had Miserable on it, had a couple other songs.
Wow.
So it's gonna be fun. We've just been trying to find stuff to release, you know, just especially when everyone's still kind of on lockdown. It's like, I mean, we're all running out of shit to binge watch, and just trying to put out stuff, you know.
Right.
I have. Let's play a short little clip from My Worst Enemy, just to put it out there and refresh memories here, because one of my favorite songs. And there you go, man. So
Yeah.
Does it feel like it's been as long as it has, Jeremy, since that came out?
It's pretty insane. 21 years ago that song came out. 21 years ago right now, it was #1 on the charts for like 11 weeks straight.
Yep.
And the crazy reality of it is that it gets played just as many times today a week on the radio as it did then when it was a hit. It's just on all these different formats now. You know, it's on classic rock, it's on pop, it's on adult contemporary or whatever. I mean, man, you know, all we want, as far as we thought at that point, we were just like, if we could just get a record deal and just put a record out and go on tour, open it up for somebody, like, we win. And then during all that, it was like the song just exploded. We didn't really have a lot of time to celebrate then because we were so busy. We probably did 350 shows that year. And
Wow.
so by the time we got home to sort of celebrate, then it was like we were kind of shoved back in the studio to make another record. But now 21 years later, yeah, we do celebrate all the time. I mean, we're completely blown away by the fact that it's still just out there and just constantly getting played. I mean, we were all in quarantine, and we were sitting around binge watching Tiger King. And,
oh no.
And they freaking sang it in Tiger King. I'm like, what in the hell's going on? You know, like,
that bitch Carol Baskin.
It was towards the, like, it was either the second to the last episode or something, but we were balls deep in this binge watch this show. I mean, I think we watched the whole series in 2 days. and we were just all sitting there on the couch, you know, just kind of jonesing out, watching this thing. And then, you know, the guy sitting on the computer, he's like, da 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 da, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did he just do that? But yeah,
He did,
crazy,
man.
crazy.
You binge watched it too. Everybody was deadlocked in that show, brother.
Yeah,
Everybody.
dude, we're running out of stuff. I mean, thankfully, stuff's coming out. Yellowstone's gonna be back, and
Oh, cool.
That's my show right there.
I was bummed on Billions this season. I'm a huge Billions fan, and it just kind of shit the bed on the. You know, every episode we watched, my wife and I would just look at each other and went, like, "What are they doing?"
Yeah, the content was weak.
Yeah, it lost me a few times, but
absolutely. So the album went. The second album went gold. What, the first couple of months it came out with My Worst Enemy on it?
it was weird. I don't remember when it went gold. It went platinum like 2 weeks after it went gold. It was just on that trajectory at the time. So, and I remember the label telling us, we were like, "Hey, where's our gold records?" And they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna wait till it goes platinum." And we're like, "No,
We want the golds too.
Gold plaques."
Right.
It happened pretty quickly, and like I said, we were on tour so relentlessly that you know, we never said no to anything. So we would be on a tour, and then we'd have a day off on a Tuesday, and we'd fly across the country and go be on some TV show, and then we'd fly back out with the tour, and then as soon as that tour ended, we'd be on a plane to somewhere overseas, and it was gnarly for 18 months straight, just relentless for that record, just relentless, and we had to finally call it. We had to finally just pull the plug because we could have just kept going and going and going, but we knew that we had to. One, we knew we needed to rest for a minute, and two, we needed to make another record. So we kind of
didn't it just pass another milestone, May 8th?
It did. So it was interesting because we've been in talks with a film company about a documentary about that song, and which is interesting. You know, I mean, we'll kind of just by default it'll be about us, right? But it's really about the and they came up with the whole idea of it, but it's about like, why this song, what is it about it, how is it still doing what it's doing 21 years later, blah blah blah. And so a few people started doing some research, and I think that's what poked the bear of the RIAA. Nothing against them, but somebody over there was asleep at the wheel for a lot of years, because it went gold, platinum, and double platinum all on the same day on May 8th of this year.
Wow.
So it just means that somebody inquired, and then they were like, "Oh wait, oh shit, it's double platinum." But the interesting thing about it is it's you know, it was never released as a commercial single. So back in 99 or 2000 or 2001, you couldn't just walk into a Tower Records and buy My Worst Enemy. You had to buy the whole album. So you weren't able to buy it by itself until the advent of, you know, iTunes a few years later. So it's kind of crazy that it sold over a couple million downloads of that one song, probably 3 years after it was well, at least it started 3 years after, but you know, after it was a single. So kind of crazy.
Right, just came back around.
What's interesting about that also is, you know, I've taught guitar for years, and I made a lot of money off of that song. You know how many kids I've taught that tune to? And you've probably heard this before, but there was a guy that was teaching next door to me when I used to teach at Padrini. You know Padrini Music? They were around forever over in Orange.
Yeah.
Forever. I was teaching there for a long time. The guy that was teaching next door to me, every time new kid would walk in, first thing he'd play, down, and press the kid. They're all, ooh, ah, ooh, you know. I tell you, that song got taught a lot.
It's a very, I've said it in a couple interviews, but I mean, you know, the whole reason I started writing songs when I was a kid was because that was the only way I would be able to play a song from front to back is if I wrote it. Because otherwise I would try to play an Iron Maiden song or a Judas Priest song, and I would get only so far, and then I would just quit when it got to the solo, you know. And so, and I think there's something about that song. I think what makes it so universal is the simplicity of it. You know, I think just having been asked the question a few times and then talking to this documentary company, the more I think about it, the song, the more it's just kind of defies logic, because it's like there's nothing rhymes, there's no bridge, there's no pre-chorus, and it just goes against everything you know as a songwriter. We break every single one of those rules in that song, and I don't know, and the simplicity of the riff and the simplicity of the I love the fact that kids can learn that song relatively quickly and play it from front to back, because that was why I started writing songs, and that was something I was never able to do as a 13-year-old, you know. So I'm stoked when I see a kid, you know, and I think some of it too started out with like Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I was talking, there were these kids in Orange County, they've got this thrash metal band. They're really badass. I saw this kid, he played at the Slide Bar, my bar, and I saw him just shredding the solo for Crazy Train with an Aussie tribute band. And so I started talking to him afterwards. Anyways, long story short, the drummer of his band was telling me, it's like, you know, the reason I started playing an instrument was because of Rock Band. And I used to play your song all the time on Rock Band. And I was like, well, makes me feel very validated, because I knew when we signed up to be a part of that was really, you know, that was kind of came out around the time that rock and roll was a little bit lame, you know, and I was getting worried about what the next generation was going to have in terms of, you know, who was going to, I mean, they weren't playing videos on TV anymore. There was no more MTV videos, no more whatever. And then, you know, new rock bands were starting to kind of fizzle out. And I was like, holy shit, you know, there isn't one kid in America right now that's asking for a Les Paul for Christmas. And then that video game came out. It was like, boom, you know, it like started a whole new generation of rock and rollers. So thank God for that, you know?
Yeah.
It really did. It really did.
You know, one rule that it does follow, though, is it's got a monster hook. The hook is, you know, it's meat hooks, you know, that's what it's got. It's just, you hear it and it's infectious and you know it and you can sing it back. I mean, that's the one thing it's got. That's why I think it is where it is, because the hook is just ginormous. What can, you know, pretty solid.
Thanks, man. Yeah, shit, you know, I wish we would have, I wish there was an actual roadmap for it. You know, I wish that we could have written 10 of those, but I think that's what makes it so special, is that it hasn't really been able to be replicated since then. It's just this little freak of nature that hangs out. But we're very grateful. I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving for us.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot of comments and questions coming in. Jeremy, we're going to pop in one of our producers real quick. She's got a question for you here.
Cool.
Let's bring her into the screen here and see what she's got.
What do you got?
What do you got there, A-Dub? Hey, A-Dub, what you doing?
Hey, waiting to ask y'all all the fun rock and roll questions I have.
There you go. So what do we got for Mr. Popoff here?
Okay. Hi, Jeremy. The first question we have is from Tanya in Kentucky. She wants to know where you were when you found out that My Worst Enemy went platinum gold, since you said they went at the same time, and how that changed your life.
Well, we were on when the album went platinum and gold, we were on tour back in 99 and 2000 when it started getting all those awards and chart things. And, you know, we just were on tour relentlessly. On May 8th of this year, I was locked in here in my house in Nashville. It's kind of funny because, you know, we haven't gotten any trophies yet or anything neat to hang on the wall, but it really didn't change our lives much, other than it sort of re-sparked the curiosity about that song. And we've been doing a lot of interviews and stuff about it, because people are just like, well, what the hell? Like, first of all, I think people thought it should probably sold more than that by now, but also the fact that like I said, it just happened digitally after, you know, I don't know. It didn't really change our lives much, other than it was just another thing, like singing on Tiger King. It was just like, oh, there it goes again. I mean, shit.
That's got to be a very surreal feeling for you, walking through some place, or let's say a department store or something. You hear your music in the background, or walking by a business and hearing that, and be like, man, that's got to be a really cool feeling.
It's a trip, man, and it's still, we're not cocky about it. We don't take it for granted, and still to this day, like I'll walk into a bar and the cover band will start to play it at some point in the night, or they're playing it when we walk in, whatever. I immediately look around like, all right, who's fucking with me? And then I realize like nobody in the bar knows who the fuck I am. They're just, the cover band just plays it every night, but it's still weird, but yeah, we're very grateful for it. And actually, to go back to her question, the song in general changed our lives forever. I mean, when we realized it changed our lives is right as it was happening. I mean, we went from playing in front of 500 people to 1,000 people to 5,000 people to 50,000 people to from Anaheim to Amsterdam all of a sudden, and just so we knew our lives were being changed forever as it was kind of doing that. So it's just been a real, I mean, I like to think that we did have a few other hits, and I like to think that if there was no such thing as My Worst Enemy, that we still would have had at least a few that we could hang our hat on. That thing was just icing on the cake for us. I mean, geez,
Yeah, the other track, You Make Me Come, You Make Me Complete, obviously the pun in that. Oh, you make me what? Completely miserable. Well, the first time I heard that one, I went, that's brilliant. Just the way it starts off, I'm going, oh, that's a little saucy there. And then it's like, oh, complete, that's cute. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, completely miserable. Yes. Makes more sense. But that was good, really good.
We actually met, we were in Vegas for some award show, and I was at a craps table, and my brother came running up to me. He was so excited. He's like, dude, I just met Steven Tyler. I was like, no shit, where? Where I'm looking around, and there's all these different celebrities and stuff in this casino. I forget what awards show it was, but he's like, he came up to me, and I just went up to him. I introduced myself and said I was a huge fan, and he said, oh, lit, I know you guys. And then he started to sing the song. He's like, and I thought for sure he was going to sing My Worst Enemy, but he went, you make me come. And I was like, what? And it was super, like Steven Tyler was like the first guy to compliment us, not on My Worst Enemy, but on our other single. So that was kind of neat.
That's cool.
That's badass. That had to be surreal. So we got a couple comments here. Dean Fitzpatrick, apparently he is a patron of your slide bar, and says that he loves it and hopes that you remain with that moving forward. Brenda wants to know, was there music in the home as you were growing up as a child? And if so, what was the typical music playing in your home? And if there was a different genre that you had interest in other than rock and roll?
Yeah, there was a ton of music. In fact, right behind my laptop here, I've got my whole entire record collection from growing up, and what vinyl I've collected over the years. But a lot of my records that I started out with growing up were from my dad. My dad was a radio DJ. When AJ and I were little kids, my dad was on the radio every day. And so in a way, like, he was kind of a celebrity, and we would hear him, in people's cars, or, walk into a 7-Eleven, ride your skateboard down the street to a 7-Eleven to get a big gulp and hear your dad on the radio and all that.
Where was that? Where was he at?
That was in LA. He was on Kiss FM in LA.
Really?
And
Wow.
which, interestingly enough, by the time Lit was a band and we were trying to get a record deal, my dad at that point was on satellite radio pre-Sirius XM. It was when there was when satellite radio first came out. My dad was on like 40 stations live at one time, but it was when smaller markets started to just pay for a service and have, the syndicated radio shows or whatever. So you know, not, I don't know that my dad would have had any pull if he was still at Kiss FM, but it was interesting because to have my dad on the radio the whole time, and then by the time we were ready to be on the radio, he had nothing to do with, he wasn't able to play us on the radio, unfortunately. But actually he did one time at his last radio job before he retired. It was kind of a mixed format, and he was able to play us, which I think was real neat. But
that's awesome.
So we had, he would bring home vinyl almost every night from work, and whether it was 1 or 2 or 3, and sometimes it was a great record that we were excited about, and sometimes it was some random disco, 12-inch single or something. But we had vinyl in our living room like furniture. Like we had stacks leaning up against the wall for days. And so we would, when we were little kids, I mean, early on, our friends would be outside playing with Legos or Hot Wheel cars. And all my brother and I wanted to do was just sit around and play records, on the big console stereo thing, with
the old ones. Yeah.
And then our grandfather was a jazz musician. He was a big band guy. Like he was in the Army band in World War II. And then after that, he played all the, toured around the nation in these cool, like jazz clubs, post World War II. He was a singer and a drummer and a organ player. We used to spend a lot of weekends at their house, and he was always playing and singing. And that's where we got our Sinatra, Dean Martin, Glenn Miller, like all that stuff. That's where that all came into play, was from him. So, and when my dad was at KISS, they were a top 40 station. And in those days, top 40 meant the top 40 biggest songs in the country. So it was everything from, you would hear Boston and the Cars, but you would also hear Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers and, and then Lionel Richie and then, Van Halen. And it really was a mix. And so we didn't start getting territorial with our music until we became full-blown metalheads when we were like 11 and 9. Our first concert was Iron Maiden, and that was when it was like death to all music other than heavy metal. Yeah. So
it's crazy being a DJ myself and having a 7-year-old, and I'm fortunate enough to work with Jack FM, where we play that big variety, what you used to find on the top 40s, where you might hear Bruno Mars and Led Zeppelin in the same 5-minute sets. But my 7-year-old, that's the same thing. He wanders around, he's just like, I want to hear music, and he's singing songs that it's like, man, you have no right or no idea where that comes from, and he's just in it, man. And that gives me real inspiration to see where you've come in life and coming from the same kind of background that he's going to come from.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And I think that it's almost coming back to that now with, with playlists and stuff. I mean, like we play music through the house every day, and we just keep adding to our iTunes playlist, and it is very eclectic. I mean, it's all over the place. Country, rock, metal, 90s, today, 70s, 60s. I mean, my wife yesterday I was standing in the kitchen doing something and a song came on. I'm like, the fuck is this? And I look, and it was a Jessica Simpson song. And so we both have access to the playlist, but it's kind of funny.
It's like, where did this come from?
Quite a bit younger than me, so that was probably her jam, when it came out.
Right.
Hey, so my audio is really bad. Should I jump out and come back in? Is it really that bad?
It's sounding a little bit better as closer that you are. You're just coming in a little weak. We'll have to run some tests on that. So quick shout out to our show sponsor, Backbeat Music. Alexandra is awesome. I know she's in here right now, and we appreciate you, Alexandra, for making this happen. All right, so a couple more comments that we have for you is Char Allen says she's been fortunate enough to see you a couple times in Little, Idaho, and can't wait until things are released so that you can come back through.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm sure, with everybody being on this lockdown and not being able to perform and be on shows, how are you dealing with the downtime? Are you guys working on some new material? Is there stuff working in the background?
We're working on new lit material that is going to be a little bit more old school lit. We've been spending a lot of time in Nashville for quite a few years, and huge fans of country music and stuff. And so our last lit record, we kind of really went for it. We were writing all these songs that we loved, and we decided to put it out as a lit record. And it was called These Are the Days. And it was a very country leaning, Nashville inspired record. And to me, I just felt like, well, I'm still wearing a Les Paul way too low, and my brother's still running around being the lead singer, and it's still lit, and we're still singing about the same subject matter, but we wanted to show what we'd been up to. But then after that, we realized, well, we're going to separate my brother and I from the band, from lit, and we're going to keep lit intact as the rock and roll band that people expect us to be. Not that we would ever agree to just stay in a box, but we've got the Popoff brothers now that is giving us like an outlet to release songs that, if we feel like releasing a song. Oh yeah, there you go. And so this is going to allow AJ and I to just put songs out whenever we feel like it. And they don't have to be any genre or whatever. We just released that song, Sons and Daughters of Summer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, we're just going to bring lit kind of back to what it was. And because now we don't have that pressure of like feeling like it has to be representative of everything we're all about right this second. And the second we split the two, we immediately started getting inspiration for both. So it's been kind of cool. Yeah.
Cool.
That's
so
cool.
we've been doing that, and we've been just looking through archives and trying to find gems that we can throw out there for people for consumption and during all this downtime. And then, yeah, man, and probably just eating and drinking way too much.
Right. Join the rest of the country. So speaking of Sons and Daughters, do you mind if we play that here right now?
Sure. Yeah. Great.
Let's go ahead and load it up and give it a roll.
Sweet.
I bet you had a rope swing hanging in some tree. I bet you counted stars laying on a trampoline. I bet you played baseball in a cul-de-sac. I bet you got the first base, never looked back, something like that. Cause we all sip the same Coke from a can, watch the same sun up there dance, had the same old styrofoam, never made a home coolers. Spent the minutes that we own on the sand between our toes. And even though we didn't know each other, we were sisters and brothers, sons and daughters of summer. I bet your first car had a back seat for a first time, but no AC. I bet you saw your first show from the nosebleeds. I bet you played air guitar through the whole damn thing. Yeah, we all sip the same Coke from the can, watch the same sun up there dance, had the same old styrofoam, never made a home coolers. Spent the minutes that we own on the sand between our toes. And even though we didn't know each other, we were sisters and brothers, sons and daughters of summer. Same summer water, cause we all sip the same Coke from a can, watch the same sun up there dance, had the same old styrofoam, never made it home coolers. Spent the minutes that we own on some sand between our toes. And even though we didn't know each other, daughters of summer. Sons and daughters of summer. Sons and daughters of summer.
Brother, I'll tell you what, man. I've probably listened to that like 35 times now since I got it over to me.
Oh, wow.
And, I love
You've
it,
been
dude.
spinning it right, Drake, on 101.1 at the Bull.
You know what, dude? I'm not even pigeonholing it because I think it's good enough to play on both my stations. So I've got it on our hit country station, which is 101.1 The Bull, and then I've got it on 103.5 Jack FM as well. So
Oh man, thank you so much, man. That's badass.
you're so welcome, brother. We are getting so many comments coming in right now. Kristen McLaughlin said, I absolutely love it. Alex said it took her back to her childhood and a simpler time.
Right.
Veronica, I love me some country music. I freaking love this song. Michael Lochner, Robbie's brother, right?
Yeah.
The newest lit album is very clean. For anyone interested in country style music, this is the album to get.
Oh, that sounds like my nephew's talking. My
Very
brother's
clean.
son. He's a huge Lit fan.
Cool.
Michael
That means a lot,
Hernandez.
man. We appreciate all those kind words, and that song really is all about that simpler time, childhood, and I love the pictures of it. And I love the styrofoam never made it home cooler that we all had. 9 times out of 10, the damn lid blew off that thing. Went 100 yards away, and you just kind of let it go. And it is, and the sentiment of it is frustrating because it's surprisingly fitting for the times right now that we're all going through.
Yeah.
And yet it feels weird to promote it. So it's kind of this catch-22. Like, I feel like it's really a song about this universal sentiment of that we're all sons and daughters of summer. We all used to run around with a bunch of strange kids on the beach. Within like a couple hours, we were all, best friends. And, it's the first time I ever shotgunned a beer. It's the first time I ever made out with a girl, and all those things that happened in the summer when you were a kid, and back when we used to drink out of hoses and
We lived.
Yeah, right. So it is a song that brings
Feel
back
good.
memories.
It's definitely a feel good. It kind of get just the feeling, the vibe, the lyric, the whole thing. It's a feel good. A lot of people like, yeah, you get it right away.
Right. Absolutely.
You're my daughter's age, she wouldn't get it, but hey, but anybody over 20.
Right. Jeremy, where can they get that right now? We've gotten a lot of people saying, where can I purchase this? So
It's on every you can get it on iTunes, you can get it on Spotify, Pandora, anywhere you get music, it's available. It's just Popoff Brothers. I said earlier, the Popoff Brothers. It's just Popoff Brothers.
Just Popoff Brothers.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere that you find stuff. We're there. And it's brand new, so we're just getting going with it. So it's and we're excited. We've got 3 or 4 more in the can that we'll drop when we can. We're going to drop. We've got a lit song coming out here in a couple of weeks that we're dropping as well. So just trying to keep it coming out.
Dude, it's unfair to be that talented in so many different genres of music. I'm a little taken back by that. Normally, you don't see that transition that clean, brother.
Well, thank you, man. I started coming to Nashville. We grew up, we were exposed to a lot of country music, even though we didn't know we were being exposed to country music when we were little.
Right.
But started coming to Nashville like 15 years ago. And I really spent a couple of years just really listening and learning and studying and, collaborating with a lot of great country writers, and then having them turn me on to, artists and writers that they were influenced by. And it very much reminded me of, that's how I discovered Elvis Costello, was hearing dudes that I respected.
Not that Elvis. Sorry.
Yeah. Hearing bands and songwriters that I really loved saying, "Oh, I love Elvis Costello," made me seek that out and go, well, I want to hear this. And then I'm, massive Elvis Costello fan now. so that same way, just digging deeper and who I love what you do, who influenced you, and then digging down that road. And I just it was a challenge for me as a songwriter, but I felt like I fell into it pretty naturally, it was just, I think, because it was in my veins, from when I was a kid. So, but thank you for that compliment. I mean, I like to think that I can kind of be a chameleon and jump in and write whatever we're supposed to be writing that day. But when it comes to writing stuff for us and for me personally, tends to kind of feel like that, that kind of.
It's one thing to write it, brother. It's another thing to be able to connect to it in such a way that you guys have. And that's what makes it special.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
You bet. Dale Preston says he would love to kick back and have a beer with you and pick your brain because you're amazing.
Where you at, man?
Hey, bring him in the Zoom. Bring him in the Zoom. He can come in,
Yeah, right. We've got a question coming in from our production. Let's see what A-Dub's got for us right now. Dubbaroonie.
Hey.
We got another question for Mr. Popoff.
Yeah.
I actually have two for Jeremy. The first one is from another Jeremy, and he wants to know about the town that you grew up in. The second one is from Eileen, and she wants to know what it's like when you're with your family or your kids and you hear your songs on the radio, how that feels.
The town that I grew up in is interesting because I've grown up a few times. And so I guess the first time would be Buena Park, California, which is just a neighboring city to Anaheim. And that was kind of my formative early teenage years, probably from 10 to 15, 10 to 16. And then it was Anaheim for the next 10 years after that. And then it was Fullerton, downtown Fullerton. And each of those towns were very formative, instrumental in just our, I feel like each phase we learned a lot about life and learned a lot about and grew up multiple times. And then, now I'm in Nashville, and I've done a lot of growing up in Nashville too. So I love being in a place that inspires you to want to do more, or even want to, eventually move on from there, whatever. But any kind of motivation, even if it's motivation to leave, I feel like it's good for you. It's healthy,
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was very middle class, actually looking back, it's very, we were a lot poorer than we knew. We never wanted for anything, but when we look back now, I mean, if my kid smashed his iPhone on the ground, I'd be like, all right, dude, and we'd go get him a new iPhone tomorrow. When my bike got stolen when I was in 6th grade, that was it. That was no more bike for me, That's why I started playing guitar. Was all my friends were out riding their bikes, and mine got stolen at the arcade, so I had to do something to entertain myself, and we didn't have video games and iPads and shit. I think maybe we had On TV, which didn't come on until at night, when you had to flip the switch and you had to watch the movie with us. So so we were very I don't want to say poor, but we just didn't have a whole lot of extra shit when we were growing up. So
well, the people on this side of the radio playing the tunes don't generally make it rich. They do it out of passion. So
right.
Absolutely.
And we loved, and my brother and I, when we were kids, when our parents got divorced, we lived with my dad for a few years. We kind of bounced back and forth, really. We were the epitome of latchkey kids, and but we loved to go to work with my dad. We would, especially because we were living in Orange County and Kiss FM was in Hollywood, and so we would have to leave the house sometimes at 4 a.m. I just, remember thinking it was so cool to go to the 24-hour donut shop, on the way there, get some donuts and get some coffee and get all jacked up on coffee, and then continue to get jacked up on coffee at the radio station and answer request lines and all that. it's funny because then, many years later, 99, when we first started being on the road and visiting radio stations, we felt very at home. We would walk right into the thing. We go, "Where's the kitchen?" And we'd walk in the kitchen, start making cups of coffee and just, helping ourselves to shit. People are like, "This is so weird. These lit guys, man. They just like, they act like they've been here a million times." It's like, dude, our childhood was in one of these. Like, we feel very comfortable here. So,
Did you ever get to go back and be interviewed in the studio your dad worked at?
no, never did. I don't think that they stayed in that building forever. It was in the Motown building on Sunset Boulevard back in the day. And man, we used to go out on the roof of that thing, and it was awesome. We used to wander around Hollywood when it was not an okay place to wander around for a couple little kids like AJ and I. We survived it, but it was pretty gnarly back in those days. Saw my first prostitute giving a hand job in a car, the Jack in the Box parking lot, right across the street. Yeah, formative years.
You said I didn't realize that came with the value pack, right?
Super side.
All right. So what do we got here? Tara Lynn Blower says lit, rock, pop off, country, combine both and produce a kick-ass country rock song. Comments?
Thank you. I mean, you got a lot of nice people that watch your thing here, because no one's talking shit yet.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean,
right. We definitely
We don't allow, we'll bounce them
out. Somebody else, Preston said, music is infinite, no beginning and no end, and your music makes us touch back into childhoods and real life, and it's appreciated. So that was cool too.
awesome.
All right. So
I find it interesting that your bike got stolen, and it was must have been a horrible thing as a kid, but what a blessing it was that you didn't know,
Right.
Interesting, because it set you on your path to where you're at by somebody taking from you. So, the giving, taking, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a lesson.
I've often thought that, man. I'd like to meet the guy who stole my Diamondback BMX bike, from that arcade in Gwinnett Park. He's out there somewhere, and he probably, I don't know if he's still around or what, but he really did do me a favor, because I probably wouldn't have been a very good professional BMX rider. I've spent a lot of damn time doing that, so it really kind of changed the course. But yeah,
right.
Crazy.
Absolutely. My brother, I know that we're going to be hearing a lot more out of you guys, and I'm excited for that. Obviously very excited to unleash things and get people back on in concerts and doing some live shows and let people feel that energy again, because I know Robbie and some of our past guests have said that energy really feeds into your spirit as a musician of being up there in front of those people in the audience, your family, basically.
Absolutely. Well, and we've always been a band that has been, we're just as excited and comfortable to play, a small club or a festival or, anything in between. And for all of it to kind of be off limits right now is very, very, Robbie, as you can attest, it's very against our, what we know and what we are all, there's never really been a stage in our career, I don't think, that we haven't had the option to at least go play somewhere at some point, and so this has been a really, really challenging time for all of us. But it is encouraging when you see signs of life. Here in Nashville, stuff's starting to open back up. There's bands playing on Broadway again. It's not full on. It's not 100%, and that's okay. But it's good to just see it starting to come back to life, and we're going to go play any damn well they'll let us here. I think we've got some stuff coming up. I think our first one back on the schedule was in middle of July. So although it feels like forever that we've been on lockdown, there's something about middle of July that sounds almost a little soon, almost a little bit ambitious, but at the same time, we're ready to go as soon as they give us the green light. So as long as the venue's cool and as long as people want to come, we'll be there. But yeah, we're just chomping at the bit, you know, and it's heartbreaking to see venues closing down and tour bus drivers and tour bus companies losing buses and things that are going to affect and take a long time to bounce back from. It's not just about telling the band that we can go play again. I mean, it's like telling a restaurant they can reopen again. There's so much that's going to go into doing it again after being down for so long that it's just going to require everybody getting together and supporting it, you know, whatever shape it's in when it comes to your town, whether it's a drive-in concert or it's a club or it's a whatever new thing that they're inventing that we haven't even thought of yet or whatever, but just any way that we can all get out there and support not only live bands and live music, but just the people that make that happen. It's, you know, I'm sure everyone's heard it a million times, but it's really, really crazy when you dig into it. Like when we moved to Nashville officially full time, it was at the beginning of the lockdown, and we took a tour bus here because we brought our dogs and it was the easiest way to do it. It was awesome. But I didn't realize till sitting there talking to our drivers about what the rest of their year was looking like and how scary it was, you know, and you know, and how much it costs to insure a tour bus. You know, it's like $3,500 a month or something just for insurance, right? And if you have a tour bus company, you got 20 of those. I mean, how the hell are you gonna? So you've got $10 million worth of buses sitting on your lot that literally a tree branch could blow into and take out a side of it, and you're just screwed out of that, you know. But people had to make a choice to you know, pay their rent or eat or pay for insurance on buses that are sitting idle. Yeah. So, and that's the case too. That's one of the things that no one talked about, but was so heartbreaking to me as a business owner, watching the riots and the looting and the burning of some of these small businesses. And I just knew in my heart that so many of those small businesses are uninsured or underinsured by necessity, just because they had to pick and choose what bills they had to pay during the lockdown. And just knowing that so many of them will never, ever be able to recoup that or recover from that. So it's just going to be important, I think, as they start to let out a little slack. You know, we got to take it. We can't be sitting around in our houses being freaked out forever. You know, we got to be smart. We got to be responsible, cautious, and all that stuff. But and I think too, we'll find new ways to help support that industry. You know, and but yeah,
I mean, definitely people need to get out and see you guys play for sure. You know, when you guys are out, anybody who's watching this in the repeat, go out and see these guys. I mean, they kick ass. I mean, when we actually connected that time, it was in El Paso, and we played together at Edge Fest in Idaho, and you know, we didn't really get much I think we said hello or whatever, but this time we went out, we got in, there was 7 nights, 7 bands, and you guys were playing the night we got into town, and I'm like, oh, we're in town. I'm going to go see Lit. We're going to catch their set. And Tony and I went over there and watched the set. And when it was done, we went back and, hey, you know, hi, you know, and that's when we all connected and all. But the band is, you know, get out and support them, go out and see them when they play, get some tickets.
Thanks, man. It's fun. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun when we get to do that? I mean, we love when we're doing those festivals that are 2, 3, 4 days in a row. And we fly in the night before. We're always excited when there's someone cool playing, because we try to haul ass and get there. And, you know, usually the runner's pretty cool and we'll take you over there and get you the passes you need to get back there and all that. But
yep.
For us, one of the funnest parts about doing what we do is getting to see bands that we love to watch and hang out on the side of the stage. And, you know, every once in a while we'll get some free drinks out of the deal. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're still like those little kids that got stuck in the nosebleeds all the time, because, you know, and so whenever we never took for granted that opportunity that we get so often to just see great bands and to just be backstage and be a part of it. We're still, even though we're grown ass men, been doing this forever, but that's still a thrill to us, you know?
Yep, it's cool. It is. I feel the same way.
Cool,
sometimes you kind of pinch yourself like, wow, I'm back here. I'm watching them. You know, it's just like, It's cool. It's cool.
Right on. Well, gentlemen, we're coming to that time, and I hate to do it, man, because I can sit here and talk to Jeremy for.
You know, I got to ask one thing though before we go. Didn't you guys win a Billboard award?
Yeah.
Did you guys win a Billboard? I got to hear about that. Really? I mean, come on, a Billboard. That's like that is the
Oh,
award.
it's right here.
Oh, look at this. I mean, that is the award. That's bigger than a Grammy. That's bigger than, an AMA. There it is. Oh, look at that. Hold on. I got to
The
see
Billboard Music Award right there, man. Check that out.
Wow. You had mentioned earlier, you said, oh, you said something about not getting awards. I'm going, man, you guys got a Billboard. That is like the award right there. That is
it's a unique award in the sense that you're getting it when you show up to the thing, because it's based on numbers and tallies and not votes. Yep. So when you get a Billboard award, it literally is because it was the most played song of that genre of that year. So it takes the guessing out of it. You show up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take home something. Not like the Grammys.
How was the feeling?
The Grammys get it wrong every damn time, right? You're
right,
like, oh,
exactly.
Come on, oh, Joe Rotel, fuck.
How cool is that? A Billboard is the award. I mean, that must have been, well, you knew you were getting it, but I mean, how exciting was that? Getting your hands on it the first time. I mean, just
it was neat, man. It was just of course you don't get to take anything home with you that night, and then they send them to you, and you never know when they're coming. And it's a big thrill to set it up. It's very humbling and rewarding to set it up on the shelf. Considering it's that award that means that. It's not a favorite. It's not a thing. It's at the same time, when we got it, it was literally like, okay, great, thanks. We set it on the shelf and like, all right, gotta go. Like we're out. We're still on tour,
Wow.
So that's probably one thing. I don't regret saying yes to everything that we said yes to. But in retrospect, I think maybe we would have spread it out a little bit. Just so we could have enjoyed those moments a little bit more. Like, the Billboard Awards were in Vegas, and I think we were in and out of Vegas in a matter of 3-4 hours just for the show. It would have been fun to just get a cabana by the pool and like hang out and celebrate the award for a couple days or
So you really didn't get to enjoy the moment then. You were just kind of back to work.
We were just literally, those years were just like this never-ending mosh pit, and we were just like running around it, just and we didn't have a whole lot of time to really. I mean, shit. When the song was number one, we were still in a RV. We didn't even have time to go back to California to switch it out for a tour bus, because we were just gone for forever, So we were in this Winnebago. We knew that we were like, we think maybe we should have a tour bus. Everyone else has one.
Right.
And it's funny is even back then we would pull up and I remember, never forget, we were number one for like the 8th week in a row. We were playing this big festival in Chicago. And I mean, with like the Chili Peppers and Hole and Stone Temple Pilots and all these amazing bands, The Offspring and our motorhome was parked out next to all the tour buses, and then our Winnebago was in the middle. And there was more people partying on our Winnebago than on anyone else's bus. It was like, it was the place to be. It was just like, we had a Jaeger tap machine in there, and we had just shit tons of Natural Light beer, and we were like, woo, and then, but we had to kind of keep it real because we had to take turns driving to get to the next town,
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
But love those days, man. It was so great.
Yeah,
That's insane, man.
I know we just barely tapped the surface. We have to have you back, especially.
Yeah, we've got to have you back.
There's some things in the works that if they work out, we definitely want to get you on. I mean, there's just so many more things I want to talk about. There's just
Anytime, guys.
a lot of history there that's just really cool. So
Absolutely. Let's exchange some information so we can keep in touch, because there are some things that we are working on, and I'd love to bring you back for those. And I'd love to bring you in for a show too. So once things loosen up, I mean, we do some concert promotions here, and I'd love to bring you guys out. even if it's the Popoff brothers, So
Beautiful. Yeah.
absolutely.
We
So
do
thank you
both.
so much for joining us tonight, brother. I appreciate you more than you know.
Likewise. Thank you guys, man. I really appreciate it.
Cool.
All right,
Thank-
my brother. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Cool. You got it, man. Cheers, guys.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, my drink.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
My pleasure.
That was badass.
All right, Robbie, we are almost out of time, brother.
Okay.
I only set these things for so long. When the time's up, it'll kick us out.
All right. Well, I mean, it was good. I could have kept going. He's got a lot of stuff that we talked about when we met that I was like, we didn't even touch on a lot of stuff.
I know. We've got to have him back, dude. Plus, he's just a really good dude, man.
Yeah.
Down to earth, easy to talk to. I want to hear some more stories from him. So
Yeah, a lot of
do
good
him
stuff.
again. Uh-oh. Oh, I did the Lochner. I can't chair spin. All right, you got me on that one, brother. All right. So next week, tune in. We've got Dale Ragini, otherwise known as Rage. I know I'm going to mess it up. I know. And then the week after that, we've got
Brian
Forsyth from Kicks. And the week after that, we got Bill Leverty from Firehouse. We're just going to keep doing this. In fact, should we talk real quick about what they're going to do? What we're going to do? Should we even mention it?
No,
Little
let's
tidbit?
wait. No,
Little-
we better.
Maybe a TV something? Maybe Network Live? Maybe? I don't know. Just
Maybe,
saying.
because actually we do want people to be on there live because it's going to be a different animal on a different day for the filming. So anybody who's watching, we will make invites to anybody who wants to be there for this filming. It'll be on a Saturday. It'll be live, but it won't be released live. It'll be
Right.
shopped live
Yeah.
so we'll see. We'll
We'll do some little things, some releases throughout the next couple of weeks, letting people know.
And once we know it's going to happen, anybody who wants to be there for the live filming, though it's not live, I think, I'm not really sure. We'll
Yeah,
let
we
you
gotta
know the
figure all that
time and
out.
we'll get you on there. It'll probably run longer because it's the filming. It's going to be a little different. But it's the same thing, but a little different. I'll be sitting next to this guy here.
Yes, we'll be right next to each other, live in person.
Ew.
Oh, it wasn't me, bro.
Okay, then.
Big shout out to Backbeat Music for stepping up and helping us out here as one of our sponsors. Alexandra Cunningham is phenomenal. She's a musician in her own right, and we're going to be doing a lot more with her. Hats off to our production team. Hats off to you, Mr. Lochner. Shall we get out of here?
Oh, my dad, you mean, for his birthday? Or are you talking
Yes.
about me?
Happy birthday, Papa Lochner.
There you
We
go.
appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, let's call it a night. We love you all. Thanks for joining us.